The Chess Olympiad 2014 from Tromsø, Norway. It's going to be a great Olympiad. They're predicting that 100 million people will watch the games online, 1,500 different competitors, as well as 160 nations. What a great event. I'm told this is the fourth largest sporting event in the world. Don't miss any of the action. Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Well, here we are, round 4 from the 41st Chess Olympiad being played in Tromsø, Norway. My buddy from the United States, Sammy Shankland, on board 4. Sammy the Bull, I'm going to call him. Sammy the Bull Shankland. He's playing against David Gluckman. It's the USA-South Africa match. And I'll tell you, Sammy does it again. It's not going to spoil the game, of course. But this is Sam's 3rd win in a row. It's going to be a French Tarish. So let's get to it. Shankland's white. Gluckman is black. Sammy, of course, representing the United States. And David Gluckman, or Gluckman, depending how you pronounce it, is from South Africa. Knight to f6. Sammy get a little aggressive there with a pawn push. Knight to b3. a5. Interesting setup. I don't know much about the French. I transposed one of my videos in a personal game I played in the French, and I lucked out, but even still. a4, just to stop the advance of the black's a-pawn. Bishop e7, just developing. c3, reinforce the d4 pawn. b6, looks like Sam's gonna, or Gluckman's gonna fianchetto his bishop here. Too much in the way of the light squared bishop to get out. And h4. Interesting. That's you see a lot of this now. The new, I call modern chess, with computers and a lot of these young guys. You see a lot of g4s, g5s, h4, h5. I kind of like it, actually. Excuse me. h6 kind of controls the g5 square, which is really the whole point of h4. Rook to h3. Sammy does rook lift, which Jennifer Shahadi from the US calls a rover. A rook that goes up and over. Bishop a6. Knight to a7 was interesting to look at. That was a computer suggestion. Of course, white has to take, rook takes, and h5. You couldn't leave the bishop there. If the bishop had taken, white would have to retake and he loses. The king would just wouldn't be a good idea. He may want a castle queenside. You don't know, and that would ruin his rights to castle. Rook to a8. That picks up the tempo. Tempos are huge in chess. It's like giving somebody 2 moves in a row. It's a big deal. As Vladimir Kramnik says, chess is a game of tempos, and I agree. Rook to g3. Bishop f8 forces that bishop back. Now right now, according to the computer on off screen at Fritz 13, it's about a point advantage for white. He does go king to f1 anyway, which is a little surprising to me. It is also the computer move, but the next 2 moves for white are pretty much the same in score. Bishop f4 and bishop e3. Both of those aren't too bad. Sam decided to go king f1. Now the other knight goes back. That one I don't understand at all. I'm not trying to be critical. Gluckman's over a 2200 rated player, really high compared to mine, but he's over 400 rating points outclassed by Sam Shankland. He moves his knight back, and that just brings up white's advantage even more. Those knights are just, what is he going to do with them now? Bishop e3. Queen to d7. What to do? Now this is a move I wouldn't have thought of, but Sam did, and it's also one of the top 2 computer moves. Knight to c1. Looks like he wants to reroute his knight. King to d8. That one I don't get. It's also a computer suggestion, but that one Maybe somebody could put in the comment section, what is the point of that move? I just don't get it. I am at a loss. King to d8 is also the suggested computer move as well. Knight to a6 and queen to c8 were the other two. Knight to c8, actually, I don't understand. He can't castle on the queen side even though the rook's on a8 because of the fact he's already moved the rook. King to d8, knight to d3, Sam's rerouting the knight. Now this is a move I don't get as well, and it's the computer's second choice. The computer's first choice is rerouting the knight to e7, which makes way more sense. He decides to go king to c8. Just getting his king off the king side, I guess. He's wasting a ton of tempos doing it. It's about a 1.5 advantage now for white. Rook to c1. King b7. There we go with a king march. The long march to here. 2, 3 moves. That's a lot. I know your king safety, of course, is important, but I think you could have found a different way to do it. Queen to b3. Now king move again. King to a7. Don't get it. I do have to say, though, it's not on the top 3 choices of the computer. Queen to e8 or queen to d8 or c8, one of the 3 was the choices for the computer. King to a7, rook to g4. That one I don't get. Is he trying to get the rook across to this side of the board? Maybe through some exchanges? I really don't know. That one I can honestly say I'm not really sure why he did it. Knight to a6. Just trying to surround his king, I guess. Queen to b5. Rook to d8. Rook to f4. Now he's going after the backward f pawn. This pawn here. Knight to d2. Now he's rerouting a knight to the other side of the board. Looks like he might want to do some pawn pushes here, maybe. Pawn here. c6, chase off the queen. Queen to b3. Didn't really go very far. This is a really, really interesting position. This is a little bizarre. Queen to e8. Queen to d1. Black is incredibly cramped. I mean, look, this is all the area that black has to work with. That's it. I mean, that's about a third of the board, basically. And black and white's just crowd them. When you get cramped like that, it's hard to do anything. Bishop d7. Queen f3. Going after the pawn here on f7. Rook to defend it. Rook to g4. Now I'm going after the other pawn. Interesting might have been queen to h3 instead. Rook to g4. g5. H takes in passant. F takes. Queen to h3. Now this is where I think David Gluckman of South Africa kind of fumbles. It's not a double question mark blunder, but it's a move that's really going to cost him, and that's h5. That brings up the computer to almost a 2-point advantage. g5 I think was worth considering according to the computer. Then after rook to g3, knight to c7, and I think black was a lot better off. After h5, rook to f4, knight to c7, knight to f3. You notice these top players, when there's a capture on the board, pawns or whatever it is, they like to leave the tension on the board. They only want to capture or recapture when it's to their advantage. And of course, black capturing here, you've got 2 ways to recapture, which is much better for white. So the tension is just left there. If the rook had taken, queen takes, excuse me, knight f3, knight to d7, and black's still in trouble, but it's not nearly as bad. If you'd like to f3, rook to g8, and it looks like black's getting back in the game. Rook to f6. Now the top three moves, none of them are bishop takes. None of them. Bishop takes. Tough blunder. Instead, knight to d7, the bishop, and then c5 is much better for black. After bishop takes, e takes, and you can see this coming now. Rook to f8, bishop to g5, knight to d7. It's getting tougher and tougher for black. Look at that pawn on f6. A bone in his throat. Sammy decides to go f7. Hitting the queen, and then simultaneously he's getting his exchange back. Queen takes, bishop takes, rook takes, knight comes up. Knight takes, knight takes. Look at this knight right here. How beautiful is that knight? And nothing can touch it except for another knight. No pawns on either side to chase it off. It's in a strong position. And they got now this pawn isn't pre. It's a really good spot. Queen e8, guarding the pawn. b4, here we go, opening up the position where the king is. Knight to a6, rook to b1, a takes, c takes, rook to c8, trying to get some defense over on the king. Queen to c3, king moves, stop the check and guard the pawn both. Not too safe though, I don't think. Rook to c1, put some power on the c file, and g5. Frankly, I don't know what else he could have done, to be honest with you. I mean, it's one of those positions where you don't want to move. It's almost Zugzwang. g5, king to g1, g4, g3. What he's doing, he's just causing black to slowly deteriorate his position. Queen f8, knight to d3. If he had taken the pawn instead, after knight takes, queen e1, knight takes, queen to a3, and of course, black's up a piece. So that wasn't the way to go, obviously. Now this is where I think the pressure gets to black, Mr. Gluckman. Rook to c7 is the computer suggestion, and I'll tell you the truth, after that it's only a quarter pawn advantage for white. I know black's up a pawn, but he decided to go queen to f3, and that was a mistake. After b5, knight to b8, a5. Now you can open up the position. Sacrifice a pawn to open up the position. Pawn can't take, because it's check, losing the rook. h4, it's his only hope to try to open up the position. G takes, queen f8. Now black's just doomed, absolutely doomed. A takes, queen to d6, trying to get something going. C takes would just be desperate. After queen takes, rook takes, king takes, black's just doomed. After queen to d6, knight to c5, check. King has to take. Rook to c1, here it comes. I mean, now the black king is just surrounded by white pieces. C takes, queen checks, king to c6, queen to a8, check. And that's where David Gluckman from South Africa resigned. This is the third game in a row for Sammy playing on board 4 for the United States. I'm real proud of him. So, Sammy the Bull Shankland does it again. To give you an idea what would have happened if the queen to a8, king, rook, king, knight checks, you lose the queen. You get the idea. Game's over. Anyway, kudos to Sammy Shankland. This is round 4 of the 41st Chess Olympiad being played in Tromsø, Norway. I hope you enjoyed it. I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Look at that. That's beautiful. It's got to be one of the most proud moments of my life, I guarantee you.